everyone. Welcome back. It is another episode of the Fearless and Fabulous podcast. This is the space where we are inspiring and empowering women from all walks of life to help them live their most authentic selves, no matter their age, no matter their size, to be full and vibrant and thriving. And today I am so excited. I'm bringing on a sister queen of mine. She is the fabulous Choniece Stevenson. Choniece, thanks so much for coming on the Fabulous and Fearless podcast.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited. I absolutely adore this podcast. So it's a complete honor to be here. So thank you for having me.
Well, it is my honor. Absolutely, girl. Thank you so much for making some time. Because I know you're a busy woman because your girl here, she is the reigning Ms. Voluptuous International. And so this girl is setting the pageant world on fire. I had the pleasure of seeing her being crowned last year. Girl, my heart leapt with joy when your name was announced. I was just like, oh my God, because I knew you were going to take this title and just go running with it. So please tell us a bit about yourself. We'll start there and then we'll talk a bit about how your life has changed since getting the title.
Absolutely. So I'm a mental health and confidence coach, and I always knew I wanted to do something along the lines of helping people and healing others, but I really didn't know what that was going to look like until I joined the Miss Voluptuous pageant system. And I feel like it kind of streamlined everything for me. It made everything come into alignment. I was able to, on my journey to the crown, I was able to really focus on my purpose and get to know who I was. So this is what helped me really get into the coaching sector, and it's taking off full throttle. I own a company called Elevated Impact, and I work on coaching mostly women, but I also work with kiddos, especially young girls, because I know that, body image and how their confidence and how they feel about themselves plays a large factor into the things that they pursue in life, their friendships, and a variety of different things. So I have really enjoyed the journey to Miss Voluptuous because it has literally changed the complete direction of my life 100%.
That's amazing. I can tell that too. Even just, watching you on Instagram, I can see like, wow, she is really taking this title and making it more than just a title, which I
Yeah.
think is the ultimate goal for anyone looking to do a pageant. Like, of course, we love, getting the crown. We love getting, the great photo shoots. I mean, why not? I mean, it's fun. It's amazing. But
Right.
I don't know, for me, I like the crown to serve. I like to serve the crown. Like I want it to be a higher purpose. It's got to be something beyond, the pretty thing that's on our heads. And it just makes me so happy to see you putting that into action. So how did you like settle on the name of your coaching? How did that come
Oh
about?
boy. So this is a good one. Originally, I was known as Empowering You,
Right.
and I ran with Empowering You because I was kind of brainstorming with a friend some years ago. And originally, it wasn't going to necessarily be coaching, it was going to kind of be an inclusive day center for adults from all walks of life, including adults with disabilities. And then some things transpired, and I had a little bit more growing to do, and it ended up turning into a coaching thing. And then, funny story, here recently in December, I decided to finally make it legal, do all the legal documents, all the paperwork, and someone had claimed that name. So I had already kind of been thinking about rebranding,
Hmm.
and I feel like that was the universe's push, like, go ahead and do it, sis. Now is the time. Like, you have no excuse. I mean, I could have made like an alternative version, but I just rolled with it. And then myself, my husband, and my sister stayed up till about 5 o'clock in the morning one night, brainstorming the rebrand and different names. I probably came up with 40 different names before I eventually settled on that one, but that one won my heart. So Elevated Impact it is.
I love that name.
Thank you.
Because the fact that you took something elevated, I mean, I'm sorry, Well, it started off as what again? I'm sorry.
Empowering you, empowering you.
Empowering you.
Yeah.
And then
Hmm.
you just decided to elevate it and it became elevated impact.
Yes, and it was so amazing. I I feel like elevated impact really embodies what I do because I work with people from all walks of life, different ages, different backgrounds. I do a little bit of everything when it comes to coaching. So elevated impact just encompasses it all for me, and it doesn't limit me, I feel like. And it really speaks to who I am personally. So I really love that name.
Yes. So, I know that you have a very interesting backstory and how you got on the road towards working as a mental health advocate. Can you give us a little bit of your backstory and how that shaped you in becoming the coach that you are today?
I would love to. So, originally, Mel, if you would ask me this question probably a few years ago, this would have been a really challenging question to answer for me because it took a lot of self discovery, a lot of healing for me to be able to accept my journey and understand that it has been a key part to make me who I am today. But so, originally, I'm from California. And I was born and raised in California. Absolutely love it, but I had a very challenging childhood. And when I was 1 week past 18, I was kicked out of my home. Um, and at 18, we think we're grown, but we don't
Yeah.
really know what we're doing. We have absolutely no idea. I had no ideas. I was not prepared or taught to do any of the things in life that we would need to do as an adult. So I was just on my own and trying to figure it out. At the time, I was talking to my now husband online way before it was popular to talk to someone online. Let me just say that. Okay.
Same here, same
And
here.
and we ended up agreeing that I would come to Kentucky. So I had used what little bit of school money that I had left because I was still enrolled in college because it doesn't matter what challenge comes my way. Like I'm always dead set on persevering or overcoming. So even trying to figure out my living situation, I was enrolled in college. And I moved to Kentucky, and some things had transpired, and my husband and I had ended up being homeless. This was way before we were married, before we had any my daughter, before we had anything established. We were babies. I was 18, he was 17 going on 18. He was like a week from 18. And I recall us having to sleep under a church at one point. It was At the moment, I kind of felt like everything was over. My whole world was crumbling. But I always felt like there was an angel or someone there that was looking out for us. And I had no idea who it would be, an absolute stranger. And it was those little things that kind of built us up to get the momentum going to lift ourselves up.
Mhm.
And then after we were able to slowly build on that, like we have hit the ground running. I remember at one point, I was staying at home with my daughter, and my husband was working, and nobody would hire him besides fast food restaurants, and they would barely give him any hours. At one point in my life, when my daughter was first born, we barely even had enough funds to be able to buy her diapers and formula and things like that. So being in the position that I'm in right now is like a full circle moment, 100%. It's very, I'm very grateful for it. I'm very honored to be in this space, to have persevered through all of that. Because for a while, I did let my childhood and my past challenges dictate who I was and control my actions. And I made excuses for myself. I was poor me, you know what I mean? And although those were challenging things, I decided that I was not going to let them have that much control over me anymore. I was going to take control of those situations. And now I'm doing what you see me doing now.
Wow. It just, it gives me goosebumps to hear you talk about that because I think it would have been very understanding if you just thought, no, I'm done with this. I can't be in this situation anymore. I'm out. You could have just dipped out, done something else completely. But the fact that you persevered and the two, you and your husband, you believed in one another and you kept at it. And now you've got your own business, which is that's amazing. Like that just blows my
Yes.
mind. And I'm so proud of you. And I'm so proud of that happened for you. What would you say to, any woman who has a dream and is trying to start her own business? Like what would be some advice? I know there's a lot to starting a business, but I
Right?
guess but for like for your own mental stability, what would be something that they could do to help them get there?
I would say, and I'm still trying to perfect this myself, guys. It's a journey no matter
Mm,
how much work you put into it, it's always going to be a journey. But I would say it doesn't matter what stage you're in, it doesn't have to be perfect, just do it.
yeah.
Right? Even if you just learned about something literally yesterday, just do it one foot in front of the other. It doesn't matter how many times you mess up, how many times you fail, you are going to fail. Failure is not the end all be all. It is just a learning curve. And then you adapt, you adjust, and you keep moving. But just take that first step. Your discipline, your encouragement, your enthusiasm about the situation, it's not going to come by you just magically sitting around waiting for it to happen.
Yeah.
It comes when you take the action. You don't have to be perfect at anything to do it. I still have a long way to go. I still have a lot to learn, but I'm just doing it at this point. I'm just showing up for me.
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Yes. And that's something that I've worked on myself this past year.
Mhm.
I have a tendency, especially with things that are very important to me, that I want everything to be right before I actually go do it. And I
Mhm.
had to learn that I'm just wasting time
Yep.
when I'm doing that. And
Yep.
I felt so silly because I kept telling my own voice students, my own acting students, my speech students, I kept telling there's no such thing as perfect. You just have to keep
Mhm.
going. But I couldn't take my own advice. I
Yeah.
was trying to create perfectionism. I've been dreaming about doing this podcast for over a year, and I kept
Wow.
waiting until the right time, quote
Mhm.
unquote. Oh, I got this going on. There's not enough time to do this. It's just excuse, excuse, excuse. And just like you, Shonice, I had to call myself out and just
Yeah.
tell myself, look, you want to do this, just start it. It's not going to be perfect. You'll keep learning. Just go. So I
Yes. You have to get really honest with yourself. Like,
Mhm.
I know that sometimes that lack of honesty is like a trauma response or it's a
Yeah.
protection to like keep us like safe and in that comfort zone. But to do things and experiencing that you've never done or experienced before, you have to go about it in ways that you've never gone about it
Mhm.
before. You have to get really uncomfortable
Yes.
and be vulnerable. I was so terrified to be vulnerable because I'm like, what if somebody takes advantage? What if this happens and that
Mhm.
happens? But you just really got to be vulnerable and be open. And then another thing I really want to touch on really quickly before we move to the next thing is that your timeline is your timeline, sis.
Yes.
Your timeline is not somebody else's timeline. It doesn't matter how old, how many years you've been doing it, how far you've come, how far you haven't come. Only focus on your journey. Nobody else's journey is yours. Yours is very
Right.
unique to you and your purpose and your background. Stay focused on that and only that.
That's the mic drop. That's the mic
Yes.
drop right there, girl.
Podcast over.
Thank you for coming. No, that's so true. That's so true. I think it's really easy to give in to the comparison monster when you're seeing what someone else is doing and you think, "Oh, I need to be like this and I should have done that instead." And it really just stumbles your own way. You're not focusing on what you're doing. You're too focused on what someone else is doing, and that's their journey. That's what
Mhm.
they're doing. And that's great. You can learn from it, but I certainly have had to just take ownership of my own self and decide, well, this is how I'm going to do it. I'll be inspired by how Shonice is doing something or someone else, but I'm not going to make myself feel smaller because of what they're doing. That
Yes,
doesn't serve
ma'am.
me any good.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So let's since we're talking about being vulnerable and comparison monsters and all those types of things that scare us, one of the things that has popped up in the world of pageantry is there is a talk of fake inclusion in some pageant systems. And I'm just say, if you know, you know, to those of you who have been following the world of pageantry, and I don't want to dwell so much on what that system has been doing, but I really want to talk about it's kind of a larger issue. It's not just in pageants. I have found that unfortunately, there are businesses that will take advantage of, for instance, Black History Month or Women's History Month or Pride Month, any of the months or awarenesses that are celebrating groups that don't have as much uh, power, for lack of
Mhm.
saying, in mainstream. And I I always feel very it upsets me a lot when I hear about people taking advantage of certain things to like, oh, we'll include you, but we're not really going to let you shine. What are your thoughts about that?
Oh, that's nasty work, Mel. Oh,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
do
I know
not
we could
like
do like a
that
whole
at
hour on this,
all.
I'm sure.
I really think that it really bothers me that so much is focused on our outer appearance.
Hmm.
This is where I'm going to gear this, okay?
Okay.
Um it doesn't matter what we look like. It doesn't matter what size I am. It doesn't matter who is I'm married to and my significant. None of those things matter. All of these outwardly things are taken as our value. That is not our
Hmm.
value at all. And because so many people focus on that being our value, all of these other amazing things are overlooked. It doesn't matter whether you have a size 2 model or you have a size 22 model.
Right.
Who are they? What's
Hmm.
their character like? What are their values in life? How do they treat other people? That is what
Yes.
matters. And I
Yes.
think so many people are just focused on this outwardly appearance that it's just completely making the field of like, especially when it comes to modeling and pageantry and all that, it's making it very just ugly and murky, and no one is really focusing on the purpose of pageantry. And what is the purpose of pageantry? It is to highlight
Yes.
exceptional women within our community that are making a change through their platform and impacting other people in an absolutely extraordinary way. That is the whole entire
Yes.
purpose of pageantry. What the hell does anybody's size have to do with any of that?
None. None.
Nothing at
None.
all.
No, that's so well said. It's so well said. And I think it's going to take a lot of reflection. We're talking about pageants in particular, fashion world. Take a lot of reflection, looking, at their organizations, looking at themselves and deciding which road are we going to walk on here? Are we going to just talk, or are we actually going to walk the walk here and show all these different types of women being spotlighted, being shown to be of worth, to be, worthy, to have value, or are we just going to, all right, here's a plus model, there you go, congratulations, and then they go on with the rest of what they normally do. It's, I think, I personally think that women are a lot smarter than that, that they know that when they're being played, they know when something isn't authentic and they vote with their dollars. And
Mhm.
for me, I'm going to support organizations, businesses, pageants that actually walk the walk. I want to be
Absolutely.
aligned with those type of inclusive values, not ones that just give lip service.
Absolutely. Like you said, the proof is in the pudding. All I got to
Hmm.
do is watch you for a little bit and I'll be able to see what your intentions truly are. So all they got to do is pay attention a little bit and they'll be able to
Hmm.
see who they align with and who they don't align with. But also too, I know that, media and social media and everything is in our face 24/7. So it really, there's a great importance on knowing who you are even without all of those things interjecting, like being comfortable
Hmm.
and loving yourself at any given point. It doesn't
Yes.
matter what society is telling you need to look like, sound like, be like, whatever it is, really being comfortable and confident and who you are is so, 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 so important.
Absolutely. And I want to touch a bit about that, Shonice, because I can tell that you are very comfortable in your skin. Like it radiates out of you. And since you've won the title, this last, God, I can't believe it's almost been a year, girl. I just,
I know.
like, I'm realizing, like, holy cow, we're almost March. It's almost been a year since
Right?
we were in Colorado. But I wanted to ask you, you've been thrust into a higher profile
Mhm.
because of winning this title. Have you had to deal with any sort of negativity online? Have you had to deal with, people making, passive aggressive type of comments towards you? Have you had to deal with that? And if you how have you dealt with it?
Um, in the very beginning, I did. It was in more internal. There were some comments being made. I'm not going to go into detail about them,
Right.
but it was pretty much stating that I only won the title because blank, blank, blank. Fill in the dot. You can put whatever you want to put there. But there was pretty much a clause as to the reason why I was crowned, and it was really challenging for me because right after I got back from being crowned in April, I kind of went through that imposter syndrome.
Mm,
And I know I had just won the title, but I was like, are they sure? Like, did they count it right? Like,
mm,
you know what I mean? Like, all
yeah.
this stuff set in, and I'm like, okay, so I did it. Like, now what? And like, of course, I had a plan mapped out, but it was just mentally, I really was struggling to. I had put all that effort and all of that energy into that week, and then coming back and kind of just falling back into regular life, and it was a lot. So then when those comments came out, um it was even more challenging. What I
Yeah.
did was I really just tuned into myself. I had to eliminate contact with a variety of people because I didn't know exactly where it was coming from.
Hmm.
So I just kind of put myself in my own little bubble, and then I just focused on myself. I did what I did to get me to the title in the first place, right?
Right.
I really focused on the healing of it, and like really getting to know me and like understanding why I was feeling and trying to work through that. And then I was kind of able to get back to me. And honestly, the confidence level before the pageant was there, but after it has skyrocketed, and not because of the crown, but because I had to show up
Hmm.
for me completely authentically as me. And I realized that, the crown it's just that, it's just a crown,
Right.
right?
Right.
It only has the value that I give it. So having to be that comfortable and confident in myself while representing this crown, like, it's been such a healing space to be in. But
Awesome.
I really, like I said, I just had to really deal with things by myself and internally. I Your therapist has a therapist. I spoke to mine. um, I had to work some things out, but I'm very, very fortunate that that is the only time that I've encountered anything like that. I have yet to, knock on wood, encounter anything else like that. But I am prepared to deal with it if I need to.
And I think part of the reason why maybe that was like the one lone situation, which I'm very sorry about because that's ridiculous. But I I think because you are so secure of who you are and what you accept, that it pretty much will probably, negate anyone trying to come for you.
Yeah.
People know when you're strong. People know when you know who you are and what you bring, and they don't want to mess with someone like that, right? Because
That is very true.
they
Very
can't play
true.
you. They can't play you
Yeah. Yeah.
because you
That is
already
very
know.
true.
You already know.
Absolutely.
You're not going to entertain any of their nonsense.
No.
Uh, and I went through something similar to Shonice. Right after crowning, I
Mhm.
was accused of being a bully. by someone. And this was really ironic because I had just been voted Miss Congeniality.
Right. Right. And if
So,
y'all know Mel, she is like the sweetest ever. Oh my gosh.
so I wasn't, I mean, of course, I was incredibly confused. The whole thing got, dealt with. But the main thing that upset me was that I was very happy at how things turned out. I was so honored to be in top three. I mean, I felt like I had won in my own way. And here was someone trying to come and take my shine.
Yeah. Yeah.
And after I worked through being angry about it, then I realized it's not about me. That's not about me. That was about that person. That person,
Never was. It never was that
right.
those people project onto us.
Hmm.
Um, and then when they see, the greatness in you and the things that we accomplish and the crowns and the titles and this and that, they see all of the things within themselves where they may possibly be lacking. And then they
Right.
project that negativity onto us. It's really unfortunate, but you're absolutely right. It has nothing to do with either of us. It's 100% them.
And I would say that to any of our viewers or listeners is that if people are coming for you and they seem really jealous about you and they're making backhanded comments, realize that you're probably showing up really well.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
that's probably
If
more
you don't have
about,
a hater, sis, you're not doing it right.
not that we want haters, right? That's never fun, but there is always going to be someone who is very upset that you are doing the thing that they covet. And for whatever reason, they're not able to make it happen for themselves.
Mm,
And I think that is one of the things that pageantry has done for me is that I feel it's really revealed myself at my highest level, and it has pushed me to be a better version of myself. And I say that in the most sincere way. I know that tends to get thrown around a lot and say, you're showing up to the best version of yourself. But I honestly feel that that's done that for me. And I know that I am a better version of myself than I was even a year ago. I
mm-hmm.
feel that women who pursue pageantry just to get that crown, they're going to reveal the worst parts of themselves, and they're never going to be.
Absolutely, because you're put into a group of women who are all impeccable, all
Hmm.
gorgeous from all walks of life,
Right.
and you guys are all under this tremendous amount of pressure. Your true colors are going to come out. So who
Yeah.
you really are, your character, your values, oh, we're going to see a full fledged and in effect come pageant week. You can't sugarcoat it. You can't, there's no way around it. So that's why you have to show up as you and the
Right.
best version of yourself. Absolutely.
Absolutely, girl. Before I end this, which I hate to do because, like I said, I could talk with you all day, and we need to like make a phone date, like for real. Uh,
Same.
where can our viewers find you? Drop, let us know your socials, your site. Give us all the goods.
Absolutely. So I don't have a whole lot of socials that you guys can follow, which I mean, it makes it easier for you. I'm an Instagram girly. I don't have TikTok. I'm not really on Facebook much. All of my major content and where you'll really get to know me for who I am is going to be Instagram. My Instagram handle is at Choniece_Marie. And that is where all things Choniece, my life, coaching, a little bit of fashion on there, some pageantry, you're going to catch it all on my Instagram. And then I have also created, I'm really, really, really excited about this one, a Discord. If nobody has heard of a Discord, it is a space where you can come together collectively as a community. And it's kind of like almost like a old school like chat site.
Okay.
But there's different rooms and things like that. And I have created a Discord for Elevated Impact that is dedicated to mental health, self-care, even a little bit of entrepreneurship. You kind of get like a one-stop shop. And the link to my Discord can be found in my bio on Instagram. And it's just a little bit of everything. You can talk about mental health in a very open, healthy
Mhm.
space. You can post about your wins, your losses, your failures, whatever it is, get advice. You'll be the first to get updates on any of my retreats or things that I have coming up. There's always a quote of the day up there. There's just so much good energy on my Discord, and I would love to see you all join it or be a part of it. But I'm super, super excited. I just launched that about 2 days ago. So
Really? Well,
yes, I can't
congratulations.
wait.
I'll be
Thank
sure I'll be
you.
sure and be joining that then. I'm like, oh, we're getting
Yes.
the scoop. Yeah, I will definitely be letting I will drop your information so everybody can follow you. They can get part of your Discord. And I will definitely be coming to one of these retreats. I was so sorry I missed out on the one in Nashville, but I know in the
Yeah.
future that's on the bucket list. That is happening for sure.
Absolutely, absolutely. Mel's talking about a retreat I'm hosting in Nashville. All of my spots are taken up, but I want to do something probably once or twice a year. I don't want to do it too often because I want the experiences to be very personal. I
Right.
want them to be very empowering. And me and a few other women, I think I have about 5 to 6 women right now. We are all going to collectively get together and do some pretty epic things, but my goal is to eventually plan one where we're overseas. So stay posted, ladies.
Ooh.
Maybe somewhere tropical. Mel, you down for that?
Oh, twist my arm. Twist it. Well, that is so exciting, Shonice. This has been such a pleasure, and I'm very, very honest with you. We need to do more phone chats. Needs to
Yes,
happen. I've
please.
missed your energy. Thank you so much for joining us. This has been another wonderful episode of the Fearless and Fabulous podcast. Please keep coming back. Please subscribe to the channel, as all the YouTubers say.
Subscribe.
Subscribe, hit that notification button, like, share. Please, give me some comments. Tell me what you want to hear more of. If you have a guest idea, I'm here for it. But I will see you again soon. Bye.
Bye.